Hello knitters, and welcome back to my little corner here and a Knitter's Life podcast. We have so many new folks, and so welcome to you and welcome to my friends who are joining me again. It's so nice to sit down and chat with you, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys in the Ravelry group. So this podcast has a group over in Ravelry, and you can find it. It's a Knitter's Life. And you can join the group. Feel free and join the conversation. We'd love to have you guys, and we'd love to see what you are knitting and have you introduce yourself just so that we can meet you. It's just more fun that way. It's fun to have community. So how are you guys doing? It is cold. I know some of you are warm and we're envious of you, but we have had some really cold snaps here in the central U.S. Last week in particular was extremely cold. We had wind chill factors in minus 17 Fahrenheit and minus 25 Fahrenheit. And they were cold. We did not have any school delays. John goes to a school in the inner city where all the parents drive the kids, either a grandparent or a caretaker, a foster mom, or a mom or dad drives their kids to school. So we got out. We bundled up. It makes you so grateful for those warm hand knits, and that we have wool. Oh my goodness, thank goodness we have wool. It is very warm, isn't it? A couple of mornings, my husband also walks. He parks and then he walks into work, one for the exercise. So he doesn't park too far out, but he works downtown and he parks a little ways out where it's free, and then he'll walk in to work because he works in the downtown area. And I said, "Are you sure? Let me drop you off. It's so cold. I don't want you to be so cold." And he said, "No, if I dress for it, it'll be okay." So a couple mornings he wore a wool scarf and then a fleece scarf around that, and that helped keep him warm. But anyways, he likes the exercise. It's good. It's good to build exercise into your day. Make yourself do it. But anyways, so what have we been doing? Because either you can buckle down and cry because it's so cold and it's the end of February and you're just dying for spring and daffodils, or you can buck up and figure out a way of making it pleasant. So I tried to buck up. I tried to come up with something different each day that I did to make the day special. And there were tiny little simple things. Every day coming home from school, John and I would make hot cocoa together. So that was a fun treat that we would have together. And he loves making hot cocoa. And it's a simple, easy thing that we make it in the microwave. So I put it in the microwave, he punches in the buttons, and then I take it out, and then he mixes in the cocoa powder. And it's just a fun, simple way that he can get involved in cooking. And so anyways, then one day I put apple butter in the crock pot, and oh my goodness, it smelled so good. It smelled like Christmas. It smelled so warm and cozy and comforting, and it was in the kitchen, and our kitchen is a big kitchen playroom area, so that's where we spend all of the day. The laundry room is right off of that, so most of my day is spent right there in the kitchen and in the playroom with the boys, or doing laundry. And so it smelled so intoxicatingly yummy. And then of course we had it for toast at tea time, and we had it in the morning for breakfast, and so that was a special treat. So if you haven't tried putting apple butter in the crock pot, I would highly suggest it. It's a really easy, hands-free way of making apple butter. And then because you set the lid ajar, the smell just wafts through the house more than I think doing it in the oven. So that was a ton of fun. And then, I can't remember some other things. I think I made John a special cake one day. We made cupcakes, and then on Friday for the last day of the week, by no means the last cold day. It was cold throughout the weekend. We cleared away the playroom because we have a big hearth at the end of the playroom and a fireplace, and we just shoved the toys to the side and brought in our little round table that we have in the kitchen, and we sat down and we had dinner in front of the fire, and that was so much fun. The boys loved it. And my mom was over, and so it was fun. It was like a little dinner party in front of the fire. I felt like we had gone to an inn almost. And so anyways, those were some of the creative things that we're trying to do to enjoy the cold. I was trying to think of things that you don't want during the summertime and that you only want during the wintertime. And I don't know about you, but I don't usually want hot cocoa when it's 90 degrees out. So anyways, I have to come up with a few more things because the week that we're headed into is going to be very cold as well. So I need to come up with a few more things. This weekend for us here in the United States is the finale of the Downton Abbey show, and I have really been enjoying that. I know that those of you over in Europe have already seen it and been able to enjoy it, but this Sunday night is the last of the season, so I'm planning my last Downton Abbey tea tray, and I'm going to make an apple raisin tea ring, and I'm going to dust off some of the silver and shine it up. And I am so grateful. My husband actually enjoys watching it with me, and so it's something that we do together, and I make up our tea tray and we take it upstairs to our bedroom because we have some cozy chairs in our bedroom and we watch it there, so which is a treat. So I'm looking forward to that this weekend, and don't tell me what it is. Who knows? This is Saturday. I don't even know if I'll get this posted before Monday, so whatever, but that's what we're planning to do tomorrow. So anyways, I wonder if you guys have any ideas for enjoying the cold. It's we have snow on the ground, but the thing that I find about central USA is that the temperatures freeze and then thaw, so you don't have some of the outdoor sports like we had in the East Coast, like cross-country skiing and ice skating outside. The temperatures just are too changeable, and so we don't have that constant. We do have constant snow this year. We did have constant snow last year, but it changes. So, anyways, we do a lot of sledding because that's easy with the boys to do. So, anyways. Let's get into some knitting. I am wearing a new pattern that just came out in the spring 2015 spring accessories collection by Knit Picks. So I did this, I think, last summer. That's how, productions work. You work way ahead. And I've had to keep it secret the whole time, which is hard to do. Actually, you put it in the back of the closet and you forget about it. So, but this was fun to do. It's a stripey and polka dot cowl. It's a 2-loop long cowl, and this is made out of the comfy fingering. So it is a machine washable cotton and acrylic blend, and it feels so soft and yet warm too. So it's a wonderful spring accessory. I'm so excited to have it out of the back of my closet and wearing it. The version that they did, the color that they did for the book is so pretty. Let me see if I can get to it for you guys. It's gray and white and pink, and it's very, very pretty. Let's see. I think it's towards, I'm going to miss it, I'm sure. It's towards the back. Here it is. I guess it's a darker, it's the color is peony. Isn't that pretty? I thought their color choices were pretty. So, anyways, I have a book and I have some yarn to give away. So that is going to be the giveaway for the Remembering Vanessa Cowl knit along that we're doing over in the group, and it's going to be the giveaway for chapter 2. So I think everybody is working hard on chapter 2. A lot of people have already finished it, and I'm very proud of the knitters over there. They're doing such a good job, and even some first-time Fair Isle or Stranded knitters are trying it. And for those of you who are new, we're doing a knit along to remember the wonderful artist and blogger Vanessa Cabin, who passed away this past December 2014. And we just wanted to do something special to remember her life and her work. And so this is how far we have gotten. We're doing a cowl because she loved bright colors, and she inspired us, at least she inspired me with bright colors. So that is the cowl, and we're making great progress. Chapter 3 is coming out this week, and then we'll have chapter 4, and that will be the end. So it's been funny. So that's a work in progress. But anyways, you can find this cowl. It's called the Polka Dot Stripes. Let me make sure, because sometimes they change the title. Let me double check. You know, you name it one thing, and then it does get sometimes changed in publication. Okay, Polka Dot Stripes cowl. And you can find that on the Knit Picks website. And I didn't realize that those of you in the UK can't buy from Knit Picks. I was totally unaware of that, and so I'm so sorry. This pattern will be my own, I think in 2016, so next year, I will have the rights to that pattern, and so then it will be available not only on the Knit Picks site, but also on my site as well. I'm trying to think. I guess there's no other way around that, but sorry guys. Yeah, I'm not too sure. It seems like it would be, I don't know. Anyways, I don't know. But that's that. I'm sorry guys. I just didn't realize that. Now I know. Some of you have mentioned it to me, and it's good to know. It's good to keep in mind. But anyways, I know that a lot of you over in the UK are working on the Remembering Vanessa cowl with me, and that's so much fun. So I'm looking forward to getting mine finished. So what else have we been doing? Oh my goodness. I had a question posed to me. It wasn't actually, to be honest, it wasn't really a question. It was a very negative comment. And it's surprising how negative people can be. But I was told that as a mother, I shouldn't knit until my kids are at least 10 to 12 years of age, which is ignoring history. My husband wants to come on and do a little history of knitting. He's a historian and also a journalist. And he wants to come on and do the history of knitting and how mothers were taught how to knit. Young girls were taught how to knit so that they would be good mothers and good wives, because knitting was such an important part of keeping your family warm and comfortable and safe. But as part of that comment, this it was kind of posed, when do you find time to knit? And honestly, I do not find time to knit during the day. I have 2 boys, and I pick John up from school, so there's the school run in the middle of the day, and I have the 17-month-old is with me all the time. And honestly, I don't sit down during the day. I sit down for taking my picking John up from school, and I sit down sometimes when they have the afternoon rest time in the afternoon. And yesterday, Arthur did not want to take a nap, and so I didn't sit down. I don't even sit down to eat breakfast or lunch. A lot of moms, I think you can relate. You don't get to sit down during the day. It's very much like working a normal job. Except it's especially a retail job where you're on your feet all day. I wear very comfortable shoes. I was a court reporter, and so as a court reporter, this is before kids, you get to wear fancy shoes, and I had fancy shoes. I wore little stilettos, and I walked all around downtown with stilettos and high-heeled boots and short little skirts and little jackets. And but when I became a mom, I had to put away those cute shoes, because you're just crabby at the end of the day. At least for me, I am crabby at the end of the day if I wear any kind of heeled shoes. and spend that much time on my feet. So at least when I got to the depositions, when I worked, I could sit down. And I spent most of the day sitting because that's what you do. But as a mother, I spend most of the day standing, walking, running around. My little guy is on the go all the time, and you have to be on the go with him at this time. So anyways, I wear very comfortable shoes, and I don't sit down during the day very much. If I do, it's at nap time, and it's for an hour and 45 minutes, and that's it. And I do knit during that time if I can. If there's something else to do, like laundry to fold, I don't get to knit. But when they go to bed at 8 o'clock, I sit down and I knit, and I love it, and I enjoy it, and it rejuvenates me, and it feeds my creativity, and then I get to show that creativity to my children, and it's a way to inspire them to be creative. And I'm very thankful to say that John has become incredibly creative. He is an incredibly creative person, and it's interesting because he isn't creative with the same mediums that I am creative with. He is creative with markers and paper and tape. Oh my goodness, the things he makes out of paper and cardboard and tape and markers is so incredible, and I love that. I love that he's chosen to be creative with something different. And after, when he comes down from rest time, every afternoon he has something to show me, and he loves showing me that what he's been creative with. So if you're a mother out there and you are creative, that's a wonderful thing, because you are actually giving your child a huge gift. And if they're seeing you be creative, it's a wonderful thing. My mother was a creative person, and she inspired us to be creative by being creative with us and around us. We watched her paint. She's an artist, and she's an excellent artist. She also is the one who taught me how to crochet and knit. So hooray to mothers who knit. Hooray to mothers who crochet. It's a wonderful thing. Anyways, finished objects. There was a rant if I ever heard one. I have been inspired by the Knitworthy podcast. There's that wonderful mother and daughter who knit to finish some things that have been in the closet and not finished. So this was a shawl that I had going. It's a worsted weight shawl, and I dyed the yarn a long time ago. I dyed the yarn in a crock pot. Let me show you. Can you? Nope. It's a beautiful purples. Let's see. Purples and reds, and it's really, really pretty. And I had about, I think I was right up to the border here. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to end it. So I just did a large garter stitch border, and I really, really like it. It's nice and warm. I haven't decided whether I'm going to keep it or whether I'm going to put it in my basket of shawls that I like to keep. I like to keep a small basket of shawls going to give to people who I think need a hug. So I have been privileged to give away several shawls in that way, and it's a joy. It's a joy to give some things away to people who are in need of it or just need a hug. So, all of us could use a hug at some times. So I think that might be going in that bin, although it is quite lovely. There is no pattern for it. I'm sure that you could find a pattern very similar to it on Ravelry. I took that very traditional leaf lace, and it goes very well with a top-down triangular shawl. And then I just, hi guys, I'm back. For some odd reason, the camera turned off, and I kept right on talking. So I wanted to show you this little hand-spun vest that I just finished for Arthur. And this, to me, is a true finished object because I started it and finished it in the last few weeks. So all I did, and I want to inspire you guys to do this, is I made a gauge swatch. Gauge swatches are your key to your knitting. They can unlock the world of knitting for you. So I made a gauge swatch, counted my stitches, figured out this Arthur's measurements, and it was about measurements for an 18-month-old. And then I multiplied the number of stitches I had per inch by his chest size, the finished chest size that I wanted. and then I went from there. I think it would be fun sometime to do a knit along where we all do gauge swatches and then just take some random yarn that we're having a hard time fitting to a pattern. Hand spun is especially sometimes hard to fit to a pattern. It's hard to find the right pattern that you want to make with the right weight that the yarn came out to be. And then I'll talk to you guys about how to do a gauge swatch and how to calculate your stitches. And off we can go, because once you know how to do that, oh my goodness, you guys, it opens up such a world to you, and you can do it. So anyways, that is Arthur's little cardigan. The fiber was Edgewood Garden fiber, and she's on Etsy. She has wonderful fiber, and it came out to be about a fingering weight yarn. It's 4 ounces, and I used a size 3 needle for it. Actually, it might be a light DK, because I did knit it quite densely on a size 3 needle, so it probably was more like a light DK rather than a fingering yarn. I didn't have enough left over for the neck edge, so I used some sock yarn that I had. You can see that there. And I did an I-cord bind off, and I also did that on the sleeves. And it worked out well. I really like these top-down little vests for Arthur, because it keeps him warm without getting his sleeves and things, and he doesn't like his sleeves anyways, so it works out really well. And they're fast and they're fun. So the other finished thing that I finished was the sweater. And no, I did not knit the sweater. If you saw my Instagram feed, and I am a Knitter's Life on Instagram, and most of the time I post daily. This last week has been difficult. I just have been busy. The boys, we've just done lots of things, and so I don't get to post. The boys come first, and I'm sure you guys can understand that. So I had this pullover that I loved. It's 100% lamb's wool, and it's really, really soft, and I love the colors. It just is spring to me. But it was a little too tight for me. It's a small, and I'm usually a medium. So I needed a couple more inches in it. I used to be a small, and I used to wear this cardigan, but we won't go there. I had 2 babies. So anyways, I had seen, but I had never tried, how you could take a ribbon, and here's the ribbon, and you find the center of the pullover, and then you sew 2 lengths of ribbon down the front, and you only sew one side down, and that's the sides that are closest to each other, and then you cut between those 2 ribbons, and then you fold the ribbon over and you tack it down, and you can see how I just did with wool a lightly tacked down, and then I did a blanket stitch with my blue yarn, and then I was able to crochet into each of those little blanket stitch, and then I put on a crocheted edging. So that helped me get I think 2 more inches out of the sweater, and I'm just about to put buttons on it, and I think it's adorable. I am so pleased with how it came out. I'm tempted to put something up here too, but we'll see. It's just single crochet to make the button band, and then scallops in the front, and I've got to figure out what kind of buttons I want to put on. I'll probably do mismatched buttons because I really like that. I really like using up vintage buttons and mismatching them, and but I'm really, really pleased. So I have a new spring sweater, and all I had to do was the crocheted edging up the front. So that was fast. The crocheted edging took me an evening, but it took me a long time to get to this project. I will admit that it was sitting at the sewing machine for over a month before I actually got to it. Just, time is sometimes hard to find, but I'm looking forward to wearing it now. So it's also tempted me to go. I found this years ago at the secondhand store, at a thrift store, and it's tempted me to go out and look for some more sweaters like this. I wouldn't want to attempt it with anything other than a wool sweater, because I know that steeking wool works well, but steeking cotton doesn't work very well because when you sew the cotton, when you're going to sew the ribbon down on the front of the cotton, it's going to pull it and make it hang lower in the front. So the wool has the bounce and the memory to spring back into shape after it's been sewn and cut. So that would be my advice if you want to do it on a 100% wool sweater, or nearly 100% wool sweater. So, but I'd love to see if you guys try it or do it. The works in progress that I have going, I don't have a ton. I did unravel the garter stitch sideways vest that I had been working on because I didn't like it, and I decided to do a top-down vest. Have you guys ever done a top-down vest? I'm surprised that more people don't do more of them, or there's not more patterns for them out there. This is a pattern that I'm just doing on my own, and I'll probably make a pattern of it someday soon. It's going to be hard to see in this light. It has a cable up the front. There we go. And then it's garter stitch. And you can see here's the sleeves. I have, there's a free pattern that I made a long time ago for a top-down vest. If you guys want to go try a top-down vest, because it is a lot of fun. It's a cabled pullover vest. It's not a cardigan vest, but it's a pullover vest, and it's called Bramblewood. And it is, you can find it in my Ravelry, the link to it in my Ravelry store. It's in the past issue of the Notions magazine. And I don't think Notions is currently publishing, but they still have the pattern up. So if you, I'll try to link to it in the show notes. And it's a fun vest. It's fast because it uses Aran weight yarn. This is Aran weight too. And it's cozy to wear. It's fun. It's fun cables. So I'll try to link to that. And in the meantime, I'm trying this experiment and seeing if this is a good, would make a good top-down vest. We'll see. So that's the main work in progress that I have going. That, and then of course the Remembering Vanessa cowl that I showed you at the beginning. I'm working through the next set of charts to make sure that they're good for you guys. And then of course I always have a pair of socks on my needles, and I haven't gotten very far. But this is some Croy sock yarn that I have been knitting up. I cast on right after Christmas, and I just haven't made gotten very far on it. The colorway for this one is Summer Moss Jacquard. So Jacquard, Summer Moss Jacquard. That pronunciation eludes me. The other one more work in progress that I have going, so I guess I have 4. Then this is going to be a long-term, what does Tilly Trout call them? A plop? A project on long-term progress or something. I started a crochet blanket. Aren't I crazy? I just had to. I saw all those lovely crochet blankets, and of course Attic 24, oh my goodness, she has such beautiful things. So I had been given a ton of this silky tweed, drops silky tweed, and there were a lot of one skein colors, and then I think this color, the red, and then the burnt burgundy, which is not in here. I have about 3 balls of those. So I was trying to come up with something to do. This is what I settled on. Here's the first one. I used the right size crochet hook for the weight that was listed, and it was so horrible to work with because it has those silk nubs in it that make it tweedy, and it just was like pulling teeth, and oh, it was so uncomfortable. I thought, there's no way I'm going to do that. So then I tried it on a little larger gauge, and it worked well, but it was also just not very fun because of the way the yarn reacted to switch colors. I tried, another version. This was too light and airy for me. And then I settled on the one color squares, and I really like them. They just were perfect and felt good, so off I go. This will take me a long time. I must admit I'm not that very fast sometimes at these larger projects, but I'm excited about it. So it's fun. So I started a crochet blanket. So in the spinning, I'll probably end off here with spinning. I did get this plied, and if you remember from a couple of episodes ago, this was yarn that John and I dyed together. We used Wilton cake food dyes, and I just let him paint the roving, and then we put it in the microwave, and I did the microwaving, put it on high until for 2 minutes at a time until the water that was coming out of the roving was clear. Then I let it cool down outside. And it's fun. It kind of reminds me of summer colors. I don't know why, but poppies and blue sky. So we'll see what that becomes. It would be cute as a little hat or mittens or something. So then I was experimenting with Rolex, and I'm going to well, here, I'll show you this. I was experimenting with doing gradient Rolex, and this will probably go for my Cozy Memories blanket that I'm doing just out of my own hand spun. And then I decided I didn't really like spinning up the gradient Rolex. They were kind of boring. Just for me right now. I probably will think they're interesting in a couple more months. So I made up some Rolex that are just a bundle of different colors all together. So I put them in my, Arthur was playing with them, so I put them on the shelf in a jug so that he can look at them, but he can't tear them apart. Sometimes I pop them on my lap. If I'm spinning after dinner and the boys are playing with JK, I'll pop Arthur on my lap if he's interested. I haven't been doing that lately, but it's fun. He gets to participate a little bit. So this is a lot of fun to do. And the thought struck me, I didn't know how to make Rolex until someone taught me. And let me clarify. These are faux Rolex. I don't have any hand cards and I don't have a blending board, but I still wanted to do something. So I searched and I searched and I searched until I saw this tutorial on how to make little faux Rolex. So I decided to do one for you guys so that you could see. There's a bunch of brand new spinners out there, and I've seen you guys in the group talking about making Rolex is one of the easiest things to do from top. This is prepared merino top that I bought from a shop called Mohair and More on Etsy, and they have little packets. Here, this is the packet that I got. It's a merino sampler pack, and it was 12 shades of red. And I think I got it for $10. So it's a very economical price. It's about 4 ounces total. So for blending and for doing Rolex for spinning, it's best, if you're going to use this method, it's a non-carding method. It's best to get prepared top like this. And I like Rolex for spinning, especially spinning with a drop spindle. They're wonderful for a wheel as well. It's a great way to blend colors. So I was shown this way to make Rolex, and I couldn't believe how simple it was. So I don't put too great of a thought into it. I just know that the greatest excitement out of your colors are going to come when you put some heavily contrasting colors together. Normally I would never think of putting these colors together, but when you put them together, they blend and they create a rather little subtle but exciting Rolex to spin. So what I'm going to do, what you do is you take the top and you're going to pull just from the one end, and your staple length can depend. This is mohair, so I'm sorry, merino. So it's kind of a medium length. It's not too short. I'm just going to pull it out and see how thin. I'm pulling out very thin wisps of the fiber. I'm going to go over this because it's a little thin. Okay, and once I have my first color down, then I'm going to take a second color, and here is a high contrasting color. So I'm just going to take, again, very thin. Notice how I'm just pinching the tips, the wispy tips, and I'm getting a very thin layer out. You don't want thick layers, you want thin layers. Okay. And then I'm going to get some of this dark and lay it on top. Okay. And then I'm going to get some of this medium light. I'm just going to put a few pinches of that in. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like making a recipe, or you just never know how it's going to come out. I think that's why I like it. Then you get a dowel, or I am using just a big knitting needle. I think this is a size 13 knitting needle. It's one of my mom's old knitting needles, and it's a wooden knitting needle. So you're going to place it on the fiber just like that. I think I moved my camera a little bit. There we go. And then you're going to just roll over the ends, and they'll stick to each other, believe it or not. They're like little Velcro, so just roll the ends in. See how they stay? Isn't that amazing? Wool is amazing. Then you're going to pinch and roll. There you go. And then you're going to roll it back and forth, not back and forth, in one direction a couple of times. And there it is, and you just whip it off your knitting needle, and there is your roll leg. Isn't that amazing? And then you spin from the end, right here. So if I was to take this to my wheel, I would just put this into my leader, and off I would go. Or if you're going to spin from your drop spindle, you would just start spinning this, and off you go. And that's it. That's all there is to making these roll legs. Now, they're not necessarily as blended as, say, a roll leg that comes from some of the wonderful fiber artists on Etsy that hand card their roll legs. But if you don't have any hand cards, like I don't have any hand cards, I wish I did, you can make roll legs this way. And if you're a drop spindler, I would say go ahead and try it, because it's it's pre-drafted, so it's a lot easier to spin with, especially if you're new, than, say, spinning from top like this. So anyways, I'll talk to you again.